Consider the risk acceptable. Catherine was Dawn Hunter's chaplain and counselor, making her the senior member of the order aboard. She and 3 other sisters were auxiliaries holding temporary naval warrants and worked alongside a crew drawn from the Lyonesse Navy. As such, she could only recommend, not issue orders. Originally owned by the Order of the Void, which used them for commerce, transport, and during the Empire's collapse, rescue, Dawn Hunter and the rest of the Galactic Dawn Fleet now served as reconnaissance and salvage vessels in the Lyonesse Navy. The Republic's handful of irreplaceable warships rarely left the Lyonesse wormhole branch nowadays, since their sole mission was protecting the planet and its irreplaceable knowledge vault. Yotai hasn't been a risky proposition in over 20 years, sister, and we're in no big hurry. I'll ask navigation to update the plot. We should reach its hyperlimit in 12 to 14 hours. If you're still getting the signal once we come out of FTL, I'll see that we pinpoint its location and send a shuttle. Thank you, Captain. The Almighty wouldn't place this across our path without reason. I'd rather investigate than spend the rest of my life wondering whether we left one of ours behind. You and me both. Was there anything else? No. Coup system out. Catherine embarked on her usual post-meditation yoga exercises, stretching muscles, loosening joints, and probing her body for signs of weakness or developing health problems. A challenge in her small cabin, but she used the lack of space as an inspiration for unorthodox movements. Besides, going through the daily routine helped calm a mind seeking plausible answers for the sudden appearance of a void beacon on Yotai, where there was none 5 months earlier. Dawn Seeker had rescued the last beacon holder on that benighted planet shortly before the Retribution Fleet ended Grand Duke Custis's dreams of a second empire with a devastating orbital strike. If they found a member of the Order, or even a wild talent strong enough to activate the beacon, this voyage would end on a high note after an otherwise unremarkable cruise that had taken them within 4 wormhole transits of the former Imperial capital, Wyvern. They'd recovered some manufacturing machinery, though whether the engineers on Lyonesse could put it to use expanding the star system's industrial base was questionable. Almost a quarter-century after the last Imperial strike groups ravaged rebellious planets, much of the advanced infrastructure in star systems beyond the surviving core around Wyvern had crumbled or simply vanished. Lyonesse wasn't the only world with starships on the hunt for salvage. However, it was probably the only one intent on building an industrial base advanced enough to support 36th-century technology. Catherine was working through the last exercise of her routine when her cabin door chimed. "You may enter," she said without interrupting her motions. The door slid aside to reveal a young woman clad in the same type of loose, black one-piece garment as Catherine. In her early 30s, with bobbed blonde hair, elfin features, and intense blue eyes, Sister Amelia was a graduate of the Abbey's training program on her first void ship cruise. She politely bowed her head without crossing the threshold, in deference to her superior's tiny personal space. "I felt a strange sensation moments ago, sister. It reminded me of the Order's rescue beacon we were taught to identify, but also seemed quite different." "Well done, Amelia. Yes, that was a beacon, faint, rather incoherent, but unmistakable. Did Corey and Mylene pick it up?" Catherine finished the movements, joined her hands in front of her face, and bowed to end the exercise period. "No, sister." Her answer didn't surprise Catherine. Amelia was one of the stronger talents and trained by Sister Marta, who opened her third eye, while her 2 cabin mates were older, with less sensitivity, though she couldn't fault their abilities as healers. At this distance, the beacon wouldn't register with them. Captain,